Hey you guys, welcome to my channel. Today I am going to talk to you about my weight loss and how I lost 20 pounds. It took me over 6 months, well at least 6 months, and I just wanted to give you guys a rundown of what I did, what I ate, what I didn't do, what I learned, because I know some of you out there are kind of wondering for yourself, how am I gonna lose these 10 pounds or lose these 30 pounds or whatever it is that you feel like you just kind of can't get over that hump. So, all right, I already have a video about this from July. I think it was back in July, and I had met my goal of losing 15 pounds. And so if you want to start there, I can link that video so you guys can kind of get a little bit of a background, but I'll sort of give you the short version of that video. I started this March 1st. I signed up through Weight Watchers on the app. I do not go to meetings. I use the app exclusively only. And I use the smart points and the rollovers and whatever that system is. I've never done Weight Watchers before. I didn't think that it was something I would ever, I just didn't think it was for me and all that other stuff that people talk about and say. And my friends on Facebook, there was a group of us who were tracking weight loss and healthy habits and that kind of thing, and several of them had lost so much weight using Weight Watchers, the app, just tracking their points, and they were talking about 0 points and 1 point, and I'm like, you guys are killing it. You know, why is this working so well for you? And as a non-meat eater person who avoids dairy, I would eat a lot of vegan things, a lot of things packaged vegan, labeled vegan. I did a lot of coconut milk. I did a lot of all these sort of healthy things. And what I didn't realize was I was packing on the calories. So I'm about 5'7", and I would say over about 8 years or so, maybe 6 years. It's hard to kind of tell because I didn't own a scale. I sort of didn't, you know, it's one of those things that just creeps up on you. And I gained about 20 pounds more than I sort of ever had on me since having kids. My postpartum weight, you know, I was right around 150 after I had Emma. And I stepped on the scale back in February and I was 159. And I was like, what happened? Because I started getting to that point where I didn't like the way I looked in pictures. My pants were tight. Stuff just wasn't fitting on me. Clothes weren't fun. I just was sort of like, what's going on? And last year I bought myself a 2-piece and actually a 1-piece. I bought myself 2 new swimsuits and I wore them for, you know, I put them on social media, and we had our vacation in Hawaii, and I really felt good and I was happy about that. And you guys, so many people were so kind. And I've even heard from some of you through direct message saying how that inspired you to feel better about yourself and to even motivate yourself to do more. And that's so what I want. You know, that's what I want. I want to own the way I look, no matter how I look, if that makes sense. So I've always struggled with this whole, like, I don't want it to be about the size. I don't want it to be about the number. It's, you know, how I feel about myself, and I do it for me and all that stuff. But then what I was realizing was that it didn't matter about the number, but it mattered about how I felt when I looked in the mirror and how I felt when I just went to try on clothes. And anyway, so 20 pounds was definitely, that was like, ooh, I am gonna lose 20 pounds and maybe I can do it by summer, you know, because this was March. And I have to say, I lost this first 10 in 2 months. That was like my first goal of like, if I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do it for 2 months and if I can lose 10 pounds, I'm gonna stick with it and I'm really gonna dedicate myself, because then I know this is the real deal. And I have to say, it is the real deal. I learned so much. So let me tell you about what I ate. On the Smart Points or Free Points or whatever, you know, the whole rollover and all that stuff. And this is different than like keto and all these other things, because you kind of can't do both. You can't do keto while you're doing Weight Watchers because you're not gonna, keto is like calories, it's fat and it's protein, and Weight Watchers is definitely like lower calories, but also smart calories. Okay, so let me give you an example. So I can eat, my friend's on keto and she is very specific about what she eats, and so am I. But I can eat as many eggs, I can eat a roast chicken, I can eat a can of pinto beans, and then those would be 0 points. It'd be like I haven't eaten anything all day, and I can still have a piece of cake and I'll be like, woo, woo, I'm 0 points. And then now I'm 8 points or whatever it is. Whereas she can, it's about this ratios and, you know, the balance of fats and proteins and things like that. And so it's really different. So you can't just kind of throw in, you know, I'm going to put just heavy cream in my coffee and eat this giant side of beef and more cream and, you know, and that kind of thing. And I know I'm not giving keto the justice it requires, but my point was, I realized that some of the things she was doing when I was trying to kind of, oh, how could I use some of that? And then it was like my points were going pew, 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 you know, and I'm like, oh, this isn't, yeah, I don't want to do this. So anyhow, so my typical daily menu is boiled eggs in the morning, hard-boiled eggs in the morning, and fruit. Especially in the summer, I was eating berries by just the cupfuls, lots of berries. I have my tea with my unsweetened almond milk, and I use the Swerve sweetener, which is the sugar that really does taste like sugar. I like it better than stevia. So I have my English breakfast tea, I have my unsweetened almond milk, I have my fruit or my boiled eggs or both. Sometimes I do a dollop of soy plain yogurt, and I only use like a dollop, because like a quarter cup, because that's only 1 point. A full cup is like 5 points. So I try to keep my breakfasts right around 3 points. Rudy's has a gluten-free, no, it's not a gluten-free, it's a spelt. It's a spelt English muffin, and I get them at Whole Foods and Co-op and Natural Groceries, and it's 2 points for this English muffin, and I love it. And I put a little bit of Smart Balance spread on there, and that's like my bread fix. So that's my morning. And then about mid-morning, if I'm out and about and I go to Starbucks, I get a almond milk latte. So I skip the syrups, I skip the flavors. As much as I love pumpkin spice, as much as I love maple nut, their new flavor, and gingerbread and peppermint mocha and all that stuff, which I will do, but maybe once a week, maybe once in a while. Last year, I was doing them every day, and those drinks are half your daily point values. You know, I mean, it adds up. So I do an almond milk latte, whether a grande or a tall, it doesn't really matter. It's kind of negligible in terms of point value, calorie value, that kind of thing. And I do, you guys, you follow me on Instagram, you see me, I'm constantly adding things to my story about bakeries and baked goods and donuts, and I love that stuff. And so when I eat that, I just use my balance system. You know, I have kind of this internal kind of balance negotiator where I know that means I have to be really good about my dinner. That means dinner is going to be pretty much fish and vegetables, you know, versus pasta or versus tortillas. And I kind of been, after you do it for several months, you have a system, you have a groove. And you know, I've been I lost the 20 pounds kind of officially back in, I think it was August, and maybe it was September, kind of August, September. And it's mid-October and I've stuck to it. So for at least 6 weeks, I've still hovered at the 139 scale number. And I think it's because I still am tracking things I eat on my app, but I know what I am capable of. So I know what it takes to make good choices. So like I said, when I do the donuts or when I do the croissant or something special, or it's a special dinner and I order dessert and it's tiramisu, I kind of don't care. Like, I might put it in my app and record it as best as I can, and it probably will just blow the points for that day. But I also know that I'm not going to be doing this every day, or I'm not going to do this more than once or twice this week. So I'm very much about enjoying things, and I focus on eating things that don't come in a package. So not those vegan prepared meals are killers. You gotta avoid them. Keep them on hand for emergency, or even like lean cuisines that you pop in the microwave, whether it's chicken or some of those are just, they'll kill you. Lunch is typically a Campbell's soup. They have a variety called Well Yes, and of the vegetarian versions, there's a lentil and there's minestrone, and the minestrone, you can eat the whole can and it's only at 1 point. So I do a lot of that. I do a lot of canned tuna. I do a lot of salmon, lox. So I'll be doing lots of kind of my own salads of tons of lettuce, cut up a tomato, maybe some tuna, and a little drizzle of maybe some ranch or maybe just some olive oil and vinegar, but just like a little bit, and salt and pepper, that kind of thing. I'm always having like an apple or a banana. Those are my tide me overs. That's what I use a lot for when I get peckish. We know what that's like, right? There is I think it's Nabisco, and it is a cracker, and it's the corn one, and you can eat 40 of them, and it's only 3 points. So I'll keep those in my car, or I'll make some air pop popcorn, sprinkle it with some salt and the spray, olive oil spray, and it's like 2 points. And so that'll be like when I want to shove something in my face, you know? I order popcorn at the movie theater. I avoid sodas. I drink carbonated beverages, green tea, black tea, herbal tea. When I'm not out and about and I haven't ordered coffee from Starbucks or some other coffee shop, I make my coffee at home, and I just drink drip coffee, and I buy the Silk almond milk creamer, and there's vanilla and there's pumpkin spice, and they taste so yummy, and they're 1 point, and so you can just really jazz up your morning coffee and make it tasty and yummy. And you know, I'll have like 2 cups, you know, I'm just drinking out of my mug. And then dinner, like I said, I keep a lot of frozen things on hand, frozen fish. I don't eat meat. So I have a lot of beans, I have a lot of tofu, lots of veggies. I'm constantly roasting vegetables, and I throw on that, you know, whether it's Lowry salt or just salt and pepper. And if I have like a baked potato, I don't put anything in it except for maybe a little pat of butter. So I know I sound like one of those celebrities where you're like reading what they eat in an article about how they lost weight, and you're thinking, who wants to eat just steamed chicken breast and broccoli? And you're like, ooh. But I really don't. I mean, I kind of do that, but that's why I roast things, because they just taste so much better to me. But I find what I like to fill up on to use those 0 points, and then I use the points throughout the day for the fun stuff, like making sure if I'm making a ton of shrimp and onions and peppers and I saute it up, then I'll have a couple corn tortillas on the side with guacamole, you know, and I'm always about the payoff in terms of, if I do a little bit here, then where do I have to kind of hold back in this department and so forth, you know. And, you know, I mean, I think things just happen when you're in your 40s, things are different. You lose weight slower, you move slower, your hormones are working against you, your metabolism's working against you. But also I've noticed that my body is different. So I'm not carrying the weight I used to the way I did. I feel like my hips and thighs are slimmer than they were in my 20s, which I don't know why that is, but whatever. And so the benefit in all this, it's not just vanity, you know, it's not just because it feels good to slip into a size 4 jean or this dress, which is a size small. I got it at Nordstrom Rack. Let me just stand up for you guys. I'm gonna wear it to an event I have coming up, and I just love it. It was $40. I don't even know the label. It's kind of one of those off brands. It's just like the Rack. And I was so excited because I saw it and I loved it, the color, and it's fun. It goes to the knee and it's kind of just this lace thing to the knee. And I was like, this is gorgeous, but it's a size small. I wish it came in a medium. I'm usually a medium. I'm like, what the hell? I'm gonna try it on. And I took it to the dressing room and I just about hollered, like, it fits. Like, I was just like, I was excited. Okay, so what else? Oh yeah. It's not just about the vanity. It's not just about this green dress, although that is a bonus. It does feel good to fit in clothes and to wear clothes and just be like, I look so good, you know, and you're just like owning it, right? But oh my gosh, I mean, when you've lost more than 10% of your body fat and your body weight, because I think it's about 14% I've lost, you move better. I can go up and down the ladder of my son's bunk bed so much easier. I don't tire out. Like, I would nap every afternoon, and I will sometimes nap, but not really. I mean, I feel like I have better stamina. I feel lighter, and my whole body feels better in terms of less, you know, you can't just tell yourself, I can eat whatever and screw that, and as long as I'm happy and healthy, and, you know, but yet we all know that the statistics, you know, the more you can be like, well, I'm healthy and I don't care what size I am. But if you're carrying around extra belly fat, you're putting yourself at risk for heart disease. You're putting yourself at risk for stroke. So depending on your sugar intake and depending on your fat intake and your sodium and all this other stuff, you've really got to be careful as you climb up into your 40s and 50s with hypertension and diabetes and just all these other things that can really affect your health. And so as much as we want to kind of buck the norm and what's expected of us, and we don't have to be a perfect size 4 and we don't have to be a size 8 or whatever it is, and that's absolutely true, we don't, but do keep in mind, you know, what you're doing to yourself, and just, you know, kind of, I feel so much better, I guess is what I'm saying, is that I feel like I've added years to not worry so much about heart disease and other things like that, and cancers and things, you know, that feed on fat, that feed on sugars and different things. So think about that. Oh, alcohol, really quick. I have not been really drinking alcohol much, just to let you know. There's different drinks that are less points in terms of Weight Watchers, and Pinterest is full of them. I will say though that it's kind of in the same category as my baked goods. So like if I'm having a margarita out to dinner and we go for Mexican, and I'm having my margarita and I'm eating my fish tacos, I'm not gonna get dessert that night, you know, but then if I'm like, I didn't get a margarita, so then maybe I'll get dessert. You know, it's really a trade-off. And so you just gotta figure out like what is worth it to you. And that was my message in my last video, is that when you get to 7 o'clock at night, 8 o'clock at night, and you're hungry and you're like, oh my gosh, and you know what's in the pantry that your kids can snack on, and you're like, oh, I could just have a couple Pepperidge Farm cookies. And then you're like, well, let's see here. Should I do that, or should I just make some chamomile tea? And you're thinking, chamomile tea, great, Rebecca. But then I think, oh, tomorrow I'm meeting a girlfriend for coffee, and maybe I'll get a pastry. You know, so you've got to kind of always look at the big picture. And don't deprive yourself, but don't also say, I can eat all the things and still it doesn't matter, because, you know, it kind of does. And so don't be good to yourself, but don't lie to yourself. I don't know. It's hard. It's hard to you know, you don't want to risk talking like a know-it-all or anything like that, but I'm just letting you know what I did. So I think I've done everything. I've said everything. This is in no way sponsored. I just wanted to share with you my story, and I will put links and other videos and whatnot below that maybe are relevant. And I hope you have subscribed to my channel. If this video is not your cup of tea, no worries. I'll be back tomorrow with some bargain something or other makeup wise. Alrighty, thanks so much for watching, and I hope you liked this video, and I will see you next time. Bye.